Okay, Chris Grammer, Chairman of Brighton Hove Cricket Club. First of all, thank you for joining us here on Benson's TV.
Absolute pleasure, Tim.
It's great. It's a pleasure to have you here. Just wanted to chat to you a bit about the chairmanship. Have a little look at the past, last year, what's going on now within the club, and a little look ahead to 2011 and beyond. So, first of all, first question, last year was quite demanding, quite a tough year for the club behind the scenes. I'm not sure if everyone knows, but maybe you can just shed a little light on that.
Oh yeah, well, first of all, thanks for giving me the chance to speak to you guys behind the camera. Often write a lot of stuff about the club and not all of it will get read, so it's nice to, for those of you who don't know me, to get the chance to actually come out and talk about the club. Yeah, 2010 was a fairly challenging year. Obviously it's a challenging time to do pretty much anything at the minute, and running a volunteer club is no different. A lot of people are working a lot of hours behind the scenes to put it together, and obviously with the economy and everything, it's getting harder to convince people to give up their limited time to a volunteer organisation. But we're quite lucky really, because we've got quite a well-established team of guys, and just 2010 was harder because we're being asked to do a lot more as a club, trying to reach out to the community, doing work in schools and trying to fill the gap that in my opinion, other people should be doing to an extent. So as a club, we're sort of reaching out there to Colts, the women's game, the adult game as well. We've now got 5 sides, so obviously brings quite a big burden to people. Like last year it was John, this year potentially be myself, John Pratt and myself, to try and move cricket forward, get it administered well. So yeah, 2010 was a difficult year financially for the club. Support, sponsorship is slightly less than it was before, and costs are going up. So obviously, as a business, or a volunteer-driven business, it's quite a challenging time. And that'll be the same in 2011, but it was really hit home in 2010. So that was the first time we really noticed how much prices were going up behind the bar and how much margins were being hit, and we had to pass some of that on to the members, which obviously is not easy to do. But yeah, it was good. I thought we came through it quite well. Obviously, on the field, it was a bit of a challenging year for the first team at times, but we ended up coming up quite high in the league, which is a good effort. The second team's a very young side, and they did very well. Certain people put their hand up and started to perform at a level that I think they're good enough to perform in. And seeing it, just the weight of players in our third and fourth team is good for the future of the club, really, because I think hopefully quite a few people will see this broadcast, and a lot of them will be young, which is obviously a good thing for me as the chairman, because we try and move the club forward. They're the guys that are going to be the ones making a difference. So yeah, it's good.
So being chairman, from the chairman's point of view, there was a lot of it was quite a difficult year for you as chairman, with your workload basically. Why was that a problem?
Well, in the past I benefited from the club's point of view from having a sort of quite unstable employment position. So this year was really my first year where I was doing a proper 9-10 hour day every single day, and found it, or 2010 was, I found it a lot harder to juggle doing that and administering the club. I mean, former people in my position will know that it is basically a semi-part-time position, semi-full-time position. You're doing quite a lot of coordination. That's basically your job. You just make sure that you try and motivate volunteers, really. And as long as the role is only that, it's just about workable around a normal job. But when you start losing a few key members of the team, it becomes more onerous. And last year it did become like that. So hence, when I went to the AGM, in the light of my personal situation, I knew I couldn't continue as I was. It was driving me crazy, if I'm honest, at times. And yeah, I was quite positive, really, the response we got at the AGM, in terms of turnout as well, which was good. Like, people were interested in hearing what we're trying to do behind the scenes. And a certain amount of the workload is self-made, really, because we could do enough to get by, but that doesn't really motivate the guys that are leading the club. We're trying to move forward, because if we don't move forward, other people will, and that's when you get left behind. So as a club, we've always tried to do more than what we need to do, and we'll continue to do so. But to do that, we need support from others, and in fairness, a couple of guys have really stepped up since the AGM. Obviously, Tim, yourself included, and Graham Cox as well. And between us, I think we've got still a very strong team behind. I didn't really lose many others, but I potentially lost John Pratt for next year to part of his role, which could obviously be damaging. As a big loss to the club if he did disappear. But yeah, I think I'm quite positive the team's still quite strong. hopefully we can have a good 2011, a strong 2011 on and off the field really.